Hey, what is up everyone? So in today's video, I kind of just want to talk about how I feel like Sea of Thieves Season 14 has really lost all of its momentum. Before the season launched, I found myself very excited for everything that was coming out. I was telling all my friends, like, hey, you should plan to get on the game for Season 14. This is going to be epic. There's going to be traps. There's going to be disguises. There's like blowpipe. All these cool things are going to be in the game. And we're going to be able to try all these different things out and have some really fun experiences and stuff. And then the update came out, a lot of the stuff wasn't there, then more stuff was removed, and now there's just an increase of bugs in the game. When the season came out, I said back then, like, hey, this should have been at least delayed for like a week for them to have some better quality assurance and kind of clean up a lot of the bugs that we were seeing. The fact that there was features that were basically completely delayed while they were trying to release the update and those weren't discovered until then is a huge red flag in my book. Earlier this week, they gave us another State of Play update, and they said that crouching was returning this week, but disguises are being pushed off to November's update. And you might be thinking to yourself, okay, so Season 14 now is really only crouching, the blowpipe, and the harpoon gun. I think we can all agree the harpoon gun is a bit underwhelming. It needs some serious buffs, and just a huge rethinking of what that tool is actually meant to be. I don't think it's a good idea to make it a weapon item. I think it should be an equipment item. Currently, as a weapon item, it just doesn't feel useful for me to keep on me at most of the time while I'm playing. So really, out of everything we got so far with Season 14, the blowpipe is the only thing that is significant, I would say. But honestly, I would rather just go back to what we had with Season 13 and push back the Season 14 update, because at least with Season 13, there was a little bit less bugs than what we're seeing now. They've accidentally brought back quick swapping, and they basically said they disabled crouching because of this, but then they said that they don't have a fix for it, so they're just going to re-enable it with the exploit still there. Alright, to me that just seems very weird. I know this is a bit of a hot topic in the community, with people on both sides saying whether or not they want quick swapping or not. I have a feeling it's just a loud minority for the quick swapping. Personally, for me, I don't like quick swapping. I don't think it's good for the game. But it's weird to me that they would re-enable the crouching with this known exploit and no fix for it in sight. My assumption is that they just didn't want more backlash if they didn't bring back any of the features, so they realized they were going to have to keep the disguises disabled, so they were like, okay, well, at least let's just put out crouching even though it has this bug still, so that we can at least say we have something back in the game. But really, what am I supposed to do with crouching? For me, crouching isn't really that useful of a feature. If you don't have the disguises, I don't really see the point of crouching. So really, all you're doing with the crouching now is just letting more bugs and exploits happen in the game. But really, the main thing I wanted to get into with this video is, I think Season 14 squandered their opportunity. Like I said before, I was really excited for the season when it was coming out, and now we're about, I think, 2 weeks in for the season, and it doesn't feel anything new. It actually feels worse than what we had with Season 13. I think the bugs are terrible. I think the whole season just feels off, and I think this is definitely going to have a knockback effect on the other seasons after this. Season 15, 16, and 17 are most likely going to get pushed back because of all these problems with Season 14. And then I also personally feel like when Season 14 fully arrives and we get all the features like traps and everything, if they even still come out, because I feel like there's a good chance that traps and everything might even get pushed back to December if they are still working on disguises and everything else. Regardless of when it all officially comes out, is anyone going to really care? They had basically a good 2 to 3 weeks for the beginning of the season to really draw people in, get everyone really excited about all these new features, have a lot of fun. But now you have, like say with Fortnite's releasing Chapter 2 again, and it's going to be like their OG season like they did last year. I know that I'm mostly going to be playing that for all of November. And then they're going to have Chapter 6 that comes out, and I'm hoping that's pretty good, and I'm probably going to be playing a lot of that. Outside of that, I know people will have, like, I think Call of Duty either is already out or it's coming out soon. I'm sure there's going to be some Sea of Thieves players that go and hop over there and play that instead. Indiana Jones is coming out soon in December, so I'm probably going to try that out as well. So Sea of Thieves really lost its momentum in my mind, because they had a huge opportunity to really bring in an influx of players with Season 14, and now it's just going to be, a slow addition of features that should have been out when the season launched, that are just kind of slowly re-enabled throughout the season. I hate having to be negative about the season because, like I've said many times, this is my most anticipated season, but this has truly been a complete mess. The fact that I think this week we've had like 2 or 3 hotfixes that have happened in the game where they had to take down the servers and patch in an update is just not a good sign. I think if Rare is going to have the insider program, they should start listening to it and addressing these bugs before it ever gets close to the public release. The other thing I would say is they also had this competition they were running with like the tucking clips and stuff. You probably saw me posting a lot of shorts and TikToks and stuff recently, mainly because the deadline for those clips were October 31st. And the idea was that you'd have a little bit of time with Season 14 to get some new clips that you could use to put in for this competition. And it was basically ranging from different types of categories that you could get awarded for. And I really feel like they should just push back that cutoff date for the event. I don't know how that works with like kind of the giveaway rules and all that kind of stuff, but if you don't even have the features for Season 14, then we're just relying on old clips. There's going to be nothing new that's using the features of Season 14 unless you got lucky and had like a really great clip from the first weekend that had disguises enabled. Sea of Thieves I feel like was getting on the right track with Season 12 and Season 13, and Season 14 has been a major letdown, I think. For me personally, I haven't even touched the game since the disguises were disabled after the first weekend. I had a lot of fun when the disguises were in the game, and I was playing with them and stuff, but I've had no interest in playing the game in the current state that it's in. And honestly, even when they get these features fixed, I think there's plenty of issues with how they're implemented and their usefulness that we talked about in last week's video in terms of like, say, how the disguises, you can't pick them up, or with the harpoon gun not being an equipment item but being a weapon slot item and it not having enough range. There's lots of issues with the features that they're adding that aren't even like bug related, they're just features with their design in general. But those are my thoughts with the state of the game. Definitely an interesting time we're living in. I'm honestly not sure when I'm going to get back into being interested in playing the game again. Maybe if the November update is great and it brings over everything, then I'll be excited again and I'll come in and try playing with the traps and everything. But for right now, I just don't have a lot of hope with the future of this game for Season 14. I know they can get through this. I'm sure Season 15, 16, and 17 are going to be great following this, but I do hope that they learn from the mistakes of Season 14 and really get their quality assurance up for this. To end this off though, there's been a topic that's going on a lot in the community, whether or not Sea of Thieves should move away from the seasonal structure and basically have like a season passing like cosmetics tied to the seasons, but have like gameplay features outside of that structure so it's not being updated with the season. Personally, I don't know how I feel about that idea. I feel like that just gives them an excuse to take longer to release updates, but I'd love to hear in the comments below, do you think that's a better model for this, or would you prefer keeping the seasonal structure but maybe when there are times I need it, delay the season? But that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed it, it'd be great if you thought like and subscribe. And until next time, thanks for watching and I'll see y'all later. Bye y'all.